Good morning. This is a 10-minute report on the deepening economic conflict between the United States and China and its growing impact on the global economy. We begin with an analysis of recent developments. The core of the crisis lies in a dangerous cycle of escalation. The United States, under President Trump, has threatened extreme measures, including a 500% tariff on Chinese goods and a ban on global exports of any product made with American software. These moves are meant to retaliate against China's control over rare earth minerals, which are essential for everything from smartphones to fighter jets. At the same time, China holds its own leverage. It supplies life-saving medicines, electronics, car parts, and everyday consumer goods that millions of Americans depend on. A full economic decoupling would not just raise prices, it could cause severe shortages and social unrest. But this is no longer just a bilateral fight. At the recent International Monetary Fund meetings in Washington, finance leaders from around the world expressed both relief at the global economy's resilience and deep fatigue over constant policy uncertainty. Many described the past months as exhausting, with one official calling the situation absolutely draining. In response, countries are not waiting for Washington and Beijing to resolve their differences. Instead, they are building new trade partnerships. The European Union is seeking closer ties with the Trans-Pacific Trade Bloc. Nations across Asia, Africa, and Latin America are strengthening regional agreements. The world is fragmenting, not collapsing, but reorganizing into multiple economic spheres. Global institutions are sounding the alarm. The IMF warns that financial markets are too complacent about risks like trade wars, massive government debt, and artificial intelligence disruption. The head of the World Trade Organization says we must reimagine the old model no longer works. Even climate change is now seen as a direct economic threat. As one central banker put it, in trade you can find another partner. With climate, if you walk away, the whole planet suffers. Now the full report. The U.S. China economic war has entered a new and dangerous phase in late 2025. It has moved beyond tariffs into the digital realm, targeting the very software that powers global manufacturing. The Trump administration is considering blocking the export of any item made with U.S. software, a rule so broad it could affect jet engines, medical devices, and laptops worldwide. This strategy reflects a shift. America is trying to weaponize its technological edge, but it comes with huge risks. U.S. companies design products in America but build them overseas. Cutting off software access would hurt American firms as much as Chinese ones and anger allies who rely on integrated supply chains. Despite the chaos, the global economy has held up better than expected. Growth continues, and markets have absorbed shocks so far. But leaders warn this resilience has limits. The IMF says valuations are stretched, debt levels are near record highs, and the financial system's hidden corners, like private credit and hedge funds, lack transparency. Diplomacy continues alongside confrontation. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is scheduled to meet his Chinese counterpart before a planned summit between Trump and President Xi in South Korea. This suggests Washington may be using extreme threats as bargaining chips, hoping to force concessions without triggering full decoupling. Yet the danger remains. Every new sanction, every retaliatory move tightens the spiral. And history shows that when great powers treat economics as warfare, the line to actual war can blur, especially when domestic pressures mount and societies feel the pain of shortages and inflation. Finally, the conclusion. The world is not heading toward sudden collapse, but toward a new normal of division and adaptation. The era of seamless, U.S.-led globalization is over. In its place, we see a multipolar system, one where trade flows through regional blocks, currencies diversify beyond the dollar, and no single nation sets the rules. The United States still holds immense power, but it can no longer act alone. China, while dependent on foreign technology, controls critical physical supply chains. Both sides are vulnerable, and the greatest risk is not who wins, but whether their rivalry drags the rest of the world into crisis. The path forward requires realism, not bravado. Rebuilding domestic capacity, diversifying suppliers, strengthening multilateral institutions, and acknowledging climate and financial risks. These are the real foundations of security. Because in an interdependent world, economic war is never contained, and fading empires rarely vanish quietly. They lash out, and everyone pays the price. Thank you.